Hello everyone. In this short video I'm going to be explaining the meanings and uses of the phrase as long as. Now I know some of you will be thinking that this is not a particularly advanced phrase, right? And that's true. It's not perhaps as advanced as some of the other vocabulary that I teach on this channel. But the reason I wanted to look at it today is that I recently made a video in which I explained the meanings and uses of the conjunction insofar as. And I noticed that in the comments to that video, many people were suggesting that insofar as has the same meaning as long as. And that disappointed me a little because I felt that I obviously hadn't explained very effectively the meaning and uses of insofar as if people thought it had the same meaning as long as, because it doesn't. But then I realized that the problem wasn't with people's understanding of insofar as, but actually the misunderstanding of how we use as long as. So as long as basically has two meanings. The first meaning we'll look at today is when we use long as an adjective and it's in a comparative structure. So as long as is to say that two things have the same length. So for example, this little finger is as long as this little finger, right? They have the same length. Another example, the snake in the garden is as long as a bus. So that's probably an exaggeration. Our garden isn't as long as a bus, but you can imagine to really add emphasis and effect to say it's a really long snake. So that's the use of as long as in a comparative sentence, but it's really the next meaning which causes confusion with many English learners, I think. And that's when we use as long as a conjunction as an alternative to if, but it's used in a way to add slightly more emphasis. And other synonyms of as long as are provided that or providing that and on condition that. So we use it a lot in conditional sentences. So here are a few examples. The bear won't attack you as long as you stand still. So imagine there's a bear, you're outside in the country and there's a bear near you, but the person you're with is calming you down and saying, the bear won't attack you as long as you stand still. So on the condition that you stand still. So you could substitute as long as here for if. The bear won't attack you if you stand still. But using as long as makes it more emphatic. The condition of standing still means that the bear won't attack you. Another perhaps more common day-to-day example is as long as you've finished your homework, you can play video games. This is a parent speaking to their son or daughter and saying, as long as you've finished your homework, so on condition that you've finished your homework, if you've finished your homework, you can play video games. But you can't play video games if you haven't finished your homework. That's just not a possibility. So the condition is stronger. It's more emphatic when we use as long as. And one more example, I'll pay for the meal as long as you leave a tip. So I'm having a meal with a friend in a restaurant and I'm offering to pay, but on the condition that, so I will only pay, the only way I will pay is if my friend, the person I'm having a meal with, leaves a tip. So as long as you leave a tip. Okay, now I don't usually say this, but maybe you could hit the like button if you liked this video, because it really does help with my channel and the algorithm loves it, and you'll be doing me a big favor. Okay, thank you for joining me and I'll see you again very soon.